All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to a Reset Monday. Okay, I really need to dedicate all my equipment to the office, have my studio at home, my studio here, because I forgot the cord to the mic. So I'm just going to ask you if you can hear me okay, because I had to sort of jerry-rig it. So a little sound check. Can you guys hear me okay? Turn that volume up there. Just make sure there's no interference. Give me a thumbs up if my sound is okay. Hey, Idaho Garden Girl, how are you? Welcome, welcome. It is a Monday. I don't think any of you on YouTube have seen my Monday morning mug. And it's Miss, Ms., Mrs., actually, where is it? Dr. Ruffin, actually. Good, I'm glad you can hear me, Big Steve. Thanks for being here. And hey, Howie, how are you? Gil, nice to see you. Thanks for being on the live yesterday, all of you who joined in. Hey, what did you think about that conversation with Dr. Wolfson? Wasn't that just a breath of fresh air to hear just health and wellness from a medical doctor who gets it? So amazing. So I'm super excited to have him back on. I don't know when, but we'll plan that very soon. And I think he's going to be a wonderful partner to this channel. So him and his wife, I think it'd be great to have his wife on. She's a chiropractor. So looking forward to lots of really great connections there. So I wanted to come on today for Reset Monday. And just again, this is a show that I've been doing over in my private Facebook group, which we are still streaming. We're streaming there right now. And then now we're streaming simultaneously to YouTube. And the reason behind Reset Monday, which I started about 2 years ago, maybe a little bit more, was that I got tired of hearing people talk about New Year's resolutions. And it's so timely as we come into the fall, into our fourth quarter of the year, that we start to think about not just the new year and not just these resolutions, but what can you do right now? And I always say it's not going to be perfect. So start today and then start again tomorrow. So Reset Monday is this opportunity to say, what am I attempting to accomplish in my life? What can I do better? And of course, if you were listening yesterday and Idaho Garden Girl says, I love the interview, I need to listen again. It was so amazing. And if you hear the resounding message for all of us holistic practitioners is that living well involves so many different things. It involves thinking well. It involves eating well. It involves moving your body. It involves relating well. How are you to the world? Do you relate well to the world? Are you kind? What are all of the pillars that you are living? And it's going to go like this. And do you need to maybe invest a little bit more time into your mindset to help you get to where you want to be? Maybe you need to invest a little more time. There goes Bentley scratching. And of course, you guys on last night, this nut, he was underneath the table playing with his toys and shut the whole computer down. So that was fun. Again, huge thanks for staying on and managing the chat for me while I got it together. So let's stop thinking about our lives and the things that we want to have as far as good health, good mindset, healthy relationships. Let's stop thinking about those in terms of a one and done, meaning a New Year's resolution. And let's start thinking about those more from a daily and then a weekly reset. So what can you do today and then the reset? So yes, I did need a co-host. I know. I probably should have pulled you on for that one, Gil. I didn't even think about that. As if I have a co-host, the whole thing wouldn't have shut down. So point taken. I'm still learning. And, when Dr. Jack and I jumped on before we came on, and he says, I'm so sorry, I'm in the car, I've got my kids. And I said, he goes, I don't have a fancy background. And I'm like, and you guys know, this is new for me. And I said, my purpose is not to be perfect. I don't want to come on here and make anybody think that what I do and how I do it is perfect. I love for you to see the imperfections. as aggravating as it was for the dog to shut the live down yesterday, it's imperfect. And I think so many people attempting to give their messages want you to think that things are perfect. And if you were on our very first Chiropractic is Sexy podcast a couple of weeks ago with Dr. Erica, you saw that we were stumbling through the beginning and, the technology. And I think that was the first time I had brought a guest in. And so it's not, and that's part of my goal is if you have a message to share, don't worry about it being perfect. I have a good friend who he's a financial advisor. He's got great messages and lessons on financial health, but yet he's like, well, I'm not doing my YouTube yet because I'm going through this course and I have to buy all this really expensive equipment. And I'm like, dude, for real, like just turn your phone on. Then he showed me a video he did from his studio at home. And I go, and he's sitting behind the desk and he's talking money. And I go, that is boring. I said, what do you do every morning? What did you tell me you do every morning? He puts his daughter, he's got she's just a few months old. He puts her in a backpack and they go for a walk. And I said, wouldn't that be much better content for somebody to see you walking with your baby and talking and having that conversation? That makes you real and it makes you relatable. So I think that's part of as we come into this fourth quarter and we reset, I want you to understand there are going to be imperfections. You're not going to be perfect. This is life. This is who we are as humans. But are you doing your best? And are you continuing to, are you complaining about things over and over and over again, but not doing anything about it? That's where the rubber meets the road. That's where you have to really take a good eyeball at yourself and say, I need to stop complaining. I'm very influential in this town that I'm in because we had no support from chambers. We had no business support. There were no entrepreneur programs. There was nothing that actually supported businesses. And I said, well, why am I continuing to complain about it? Let me do something about it. So I'm a part of a bigger picture and helping to really lift up the community. And that's what I want for you is that stop complaining. If you find yourself complaining, you have got to do something about it, because I promise you someone around you is probably not wanting to hear it anymore either, right? It was a truly organic broadcast. It sure was. So as we come into, we've got Thanksgiving next week, which I can't even believe Thanksgiving is already here. It's so crazy. It's almost like October. We think the holidays are so far off, even up to October 31st. But there's something that happens from October to November, and suddenly we go, oh my God, it's November already. It's like, yeah, November's been coming. So hey, everybody. Urban Gardening Chronicles had a great show yesterday. They had multiple people on, and they were preserving, they were canning, pressure canning, dehydrating, water bath canning. And it was really interesting to watch. I'm a champ at water bath canning and dehydrating. I haven't done much pressure canning, so that was really interesting. And it was really cool actually to see everybody learning. And this goes back to what Gil said in one of his videos a couple weeks ago, maybe last week, about learn a skill. And what a great way urban gardening to bring people together to learn that skill is a canning class. So I had actually, I was going to do that for my salsa. And I was actually going to do it in person at my house, have everybody come, learn, see how the process is done, and do a class like that. And we had so much rain that we didn't get enough tomatoes for me to do a large enough batch to do the class. So actually you gave me a really great idea, because I could have done it on a smaller scale via video. And bravo, I love it. So go over there. You guys check it out. If you're into any canning, preserving, go check that out. I think that was live last night. So, okay. So as we come up to Thanksgiving next week, this is one of my secrets. All right. Is that y'all listening? It's one of my secrets. And the secret is it's starting to really be accountable for yourself and really put a microscope on what you're doing over this next week. Now, I would like for you to be putting a microscope on your health, your wellness, your mindset, your gratitude. I would like for that to be happening all throughout the year. And again, we go to parties, summertime, people derail, a lot of backyard picnics. So Thanksgiving's the same way. In fact, throughout the holidays, the average person will gain 5 pounds or more. It's 5 to 7 pounds. Do you want to be that person? Because we all know how easy it is to gain weight. We all know how hard it is to lose it, don't we? So don't be that person that gains 5 to 7 pounds. And then you come up into January and you're like, I'm going to lose weight. I have a New Year's resolution. And then you just do it all over again. So start thinking today, what can you do over the next 10 days where you can actually put yourself into a happy caloric deficit? When I say happy, it means, eating high quality proteins, eating, more fruits and vegetables. I would scale completely. I would scale out all of the grains, no gluten, no rice, nothing. I would strictly go good high quality protein, vegetables, maybe a yellow potato or something like that for some carbohydrates. And you'll start to go into a little bit of a caloric deficit. You might lose some water weight. You probably will do that. So what that does is a couple of things. Then when it comes to Thanksgiving, and a lot of people start Thanksgiving on Wednesday night because that's the biggest bar night of the year here in the United States. And so the alcohol consumption. And so then we go in, so that starts there. Then we go into Thanksgiving, and it's sometimes people go and have 2 and 3 dinners because of the different families and neighbors and people that they have to go visit and take the kids. And so thinking about, really watching your alcohol intake, watching your food intake. There's only, my only thing on Thanksgiving is my sister-in-law makes this bread dressing that it was her father's recipe, and it's made with it's horrible. I'm just going to tell you guys, it's horrible. And I load it with gravy, and it's so wonderful and it's so decadent. And I just sit and I eat it. Don't eat fast. Eat it slowly. Allow your brain. My mouth is already watering. I know I'm making you guys hungry. Allow your brain to connect with your taste buds and allow that the satisfaction, the dopamine to really take form, because otherwise you're going to want to gorge. And that's where we run into trouble is we don't want to be gorging ourselves. So eat slowly. So yeah, that's my one decadent thing. Dr. Wolfson spoke last night about eat everything organic, right? So if you can move your way towards that. Well, again, we're going into other people's homes. If you came into my home, probably mostly everything is organic. And, but you're going to go have dinner at people's homes, and it's probably going to be like butterball chicken from the grocery store. And, some people, I hope nobody's doing stovetop stuffing, but you never know. That could be somebody's base for stuffing, all the monosodium glutamate in there. If I make bread dressing, I actually will go out to I still have my sage is growing throughout, probably through March. I'm picking sage, and I load it up with sage and my bone broth. And oh my gosh, that's actually truly decadent as well. So for me, mostly it's staying away from I don't usually eat a lot of bread and gluten. So once we get through the holidays, and then you can get back on your track, right? And I'm not saying get to the holidays and derail. So start today. So what are you having today? What's for lunch today? What's for dinner? Are you fasting? This would be a great time to put a few more days of fasting into your diet, right? So can you do a 24-hour fast before the holidays? Maybe you can only do a 16 to 18 day fast. But what are the small things that you can use that are going to start to help you so that you don't completely derail on Thanksgiving? Urban Gardening says, I still use stovetop. I'm so sorry. Did I just call you out? I'm so ashamed. I'm so sorry. Listen, I'm not denying that it's delicious. Okay. Not denying that at all. And again, it's because of all the chemicals in those seasonings that make it's actually addicting. This is what they do when we do, in the food chemical industry. I'm not in that, but in the food chemical industry, that savory, that could be 150 different chemical compounds put together to give you that hit that just, man, it just triggers your brain. And the problem with the monosodium glutamate in the stovetop, and you might go in stovetop, in salad dressings, in packets of taco seasoning, monosodium glutamate lives everywhere, and it lives under multiple names. And you guys can just Google, all the names that MSG lives under. Spices, if it says spices, if it says autolyzed yeast extract, there's so many places that MSG lives, but it's decadent. I get it. And that's the thing, is it's put in there designed to make you addicted and to make you eat more. So there's that. Okay. Idaho Garden Girl, lucky me, I don't like stuffing, but potatoes with butter. Oh, girl, I'm telling you, a good yellow potato. Do you grow your own potatoes? I don't grow potatoes. I attempted a couple years ago and I had a fail on that, so I have to figure that out. But potatoes with lots and lots of, and I use grass-fed butter, local butter, and it's so decadent, and lots of good sea salt and pepper. Mm-hmm. I could live on that for sure. But again, we don't do that every day, right? And Food Forest Howie says, eat what you grow what you eat. Chickens, goats, deep spring, fishing, foraging, and hunting. Folks must remember the food you buy may or may not be loved. Yeah. So Dr. Jack was also talking about this too. And, if we eat everything organic, and I was saying that is one of the reasons that I grow a garden. Probably many of you, one of the reasons you grow gardens is because you can control the toxic chemicals, which is zero. Like, let's just not put chemicals. And there's a lot of natural compounds that we can use that help our gardens be in synergy with nature, so that we can, make sure that we get a good flourishing garden. The cabbage moths got me this year, so I have to figure those out. But I still got lots of great veggies out of my garden. So, you're in Idaho. I was going to say, if you didn't say that you grew your own tomatoes, I was going to be very disappointed in you. So that's great. So let's kind of distill it down as we go into these next 10 days before the holidays. So, I don't know if you have a glass of wine every night or what that is, but, limit your alcohol intake. If you can go zero alcohol until then, perfect. Add more fasting in as you come up again over the next 10 days. So, try to eat a little bit earlier in the evening. And then when you wake up in the morning, you're probably already at a 12-hour fast. So then can you hold out another, 4 to 6 hours? It would give you a 16, 18-hour fast. If you can do a 24-hour, bravo, that's awesome. I'm going to attempt a 24-hour today, sometimes 24. When I get to about that 19, 20-hour, 22-hour mark, I start to get a little shaky. So that means my blood sugar is a little bit off. So respect your body. If it starts to not feel good, then have something, I'll do like a protein supplement powder or shake, something like that. So a little bit of fasting, and then of course, clean. I would just completely eliminate grains over the next 10 days. Just don't do it. And this is actually a great experiment for all of you, that if you went zero grains for 7 days, if you have bloating, if you have rashes, if you have, headaches, chronic pain, inflammation, when you wake up in the morning, your joints are stiff, you will feel amazing. I promise you. Grains even the gluten-free grains can be cross-contamination. They can also cause inflammation for people. I see a lot of patients who have issues with grains. And so we have to, limit those as well. Gil says, working on getting my diet changed and back on track, 2 meals a day, 11 and 4. This was when I was losing the most weight. Yeah. So at 4, if his last meal is at 4, then Gil could easily do a good long fast on that. So, and that would definitely help the weight. I like fasting just for the purpose that it helps you control your calories. So then when you do eat, you really aren't eating that much. But make sure you keep it to, good, healthy food. Like, don't fast all day and then go through McDonald's. Or wasps for cabbage moths. Oh, right. Can I attract? What do I do to put more wasps in there? Idaho Garden Girl says, I went 0 alcohol years ago when I decided I needed to preserve my brain cells. It's a thing. Yeah, it's absolutely a thing. I didn't, because I was a single mom, so I needed my wine. So I was just saying that. Bravo to you, though. Yeah, and she's away at college. She'll be home on Wednesday, so I'm preparing for that. So, no, I love her to death. She's amazing. Let's see. Mitotoxins. Mitotoxins will do that. Thinking mycotoxin or mito? I've not heard of a mitotoxin. Idaho Garden Girl, I normally eat 2 corn tortillas per day. That's my only grains. I guess I should stop that. Listen, if you can get local corn, local organic, non-GMO. So corn is one of the, corn and soy and gluten, they're so highly chemical adulterated. I know that's terrible grammar, but are they organic? Are they non-GMO? I buy these tortilla chips and they're non-GMO. They're all organic. They're made with all organic ingredients. I love a good tortilla chip, but I just don't want to compromise getting outside of the non-GMO box when it comes to corn and soy. Hold on, I have to open my door. Okay, so we got just a couple more minutes while this young lady comes in and gets herself going. And I haven't actually put you on the schedule, so I'm glad you just showed up because you knew I was going to forget. People text me over the weekend. They're like, hey, can I change my appointment? I'm like, sure, but don't expect me to remember. You're not going to get your reminder, right? I'm like, just come in because it is what it is. So let's see. Not thoroughly opposed to that, but if you can do the uncured versions, we do a lot of charcuterie throughout the holidays. And so we do a lot of uncured sausages and meats. So let's see. Gil says we cut out the corn tortillas, went to flour years ago. Yeah, you're actually better off with the corn, the non-GMO organic corn. Like, get rid of the flour ones. But there's I've got a good friend of mine. She's got a great channel. I don't know if she's on YouTube as much as she's on Instagram. And I think I will have her on the show. So she does, she's an incredible cook, and her channel over on Instagram is called Return to the Table. And what she does, let me see if I can pull her up here. And she's Italian, but she's married to a Frenchman. And she talks about, you can eat all the things that you want as long as you do it like the French. And because French people eat butter and they drink wine and they have all of in bread, but they're not, drop this down here, but they're not fat. And so let's see, if you're over on Instagram, there's her channel right there. So how can you eat like the French? And so she actually did a webinar on Saturday. Unfortunately, I missed it, on where to source things so that you're getting like flour that was grown and made in France or Italy, in places where there's no pesticides. It hasn't been genetically modified. It's actually like, ancient grains. So there's no hybridization of it. So it's not going to attack your gut. So it's really cool what she's doing over there. So go check her out. Stephanie says, my tortillas are made locally, but I'm sure they're not organic or non-GMO. Yeah, I would ask for sure. And And I can't imagine it's too difficult to make a good tortilla. That'd be a good experiment, right? So Gil says, okay, so Gil, if you're going to do flour tortilla, first of all, like people are like, well, if I go gluten-free, how am I going to have a sandwich? I'm like, you don't need a sandwich. Like, that's the whole point. We're so over sandwiched here in the United States. It's ridiculous. You don't need a sandwich. If you take a giant collard green, those make amazing wraps for sandwiches. Or even if you're doing burritos, like you use a giant kale leaf or a giant collard green. Those are really amazing. So maybe try that route, or go to Katerina's blog and find where to source flour and try making it yourself. So, and do you have a problem with corn? And a lot of people do. So I'm not saying that, but because it's genetically modified, I wonder if organic corn would do the same thing. Stephanie says, I think having lots of flowers to encourage. Yeah, I do have lots and lots of flowers, and I plant marigolds around the garden as well. So thanks for stopping by, Howie. Appreciate you being here. Catch some fish, send it this way. Yeah. Let's see. Call the health food store in the city. Yeah. See what you can find. Or like I said, source the organic grain and do it yourself. So perfect. Exactly, Big Steve. Lettuce burgers. It's fine. You'll be fine. The collard greens are amazing because they're so dense in nutrients that you're not missing it. If you're trying to wrap a burger in iceberg lettuce, yeah, no, you need something big and hearty with lots and lots of nutrients. So, yes, it is masa corn flour. It's ground differently, but it still should be GMO or it should be non-GMO and organic. And cauliflower for bread and tortilla. Yeah, you can make it, right? You can make your own cauliflower flour. But I find it, I attempted this many years ago and I got sick of it. And I was like, oh my God, I can't do the cauliflower flour. And it is pricey, but I would try to just make it yourself. Or like I said, just come up with an alternative option. We don't need bread. We just don't need bread, but we're super conditioned. So Big Steve says, I had it and they are yummy, Dr. Paul. Yes, nice, good. Yes, almond flour too. I have a great recipe for almond flour bread. Uses a lot of butter, and I'm not opposed to that. So I can try to drop that in the show notes after I have to go find it. So, all right, I have people walking in. You guys are so gracious for hanging out here while I finish this up. And thank you for being here for Reset Monday. I always appreciate you showing up here. Wednesday, I haven't posted it yet, but Wednesday I'm going to be here with my Metagenics rep. We're going to be talking nutrition. We're going to be talking probiotics. That's going to be Wednesday at noon Eastern time. So make sure you tune into that. Saturday, I'll be on Gil's channel, Campanton Family Compound, at 8 p.m., probably talking more of this stuff. We're going to try to get Dr. Wolfson on that. I think Dr. Ron's going to be on there too. So that should be a champion of a show. And then, of course, next Sunday for my live at 6 p.m. Oh, and then Thursday for Chiropractic is Sexy with Dr. Erica at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So hope to see you all somewhere around there. And thanks again for showing up here on Reset Monday. Let me know, what are you going to reset? How are you going to take care of yourself before the holidays? It's time. Start now. All right. And then, like I said, it's not going to be perfect. So start today and then start again tomorrow. All right, you guys have an amazing week and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much. So, see ya. Bye.